aspects, which is what do you do in the event where you feel that your case or your claim has been rejected wrongfully? Is there recourse that you have?
Yes, absolutely. See, I think there are multiple recourse options which the regulator has established. I think the first and the foremost is to approach, your advisor or the distributor, or let's say in case of Policy Bazaar, what we have started is something called as Claim Samadhan Divas, wherein we, call in the customers who have the grievances versus and the, insurance company underwriters, where we, solve the problem that one goes. So that is one. You can always approach your advisors or the, platform that you bought the policy from. The second is you can write to the insurance company, management or the ombuds, the dedicated person at the insurance company. The third thing is obviously you can go to the ombudsman, you can file a complaint with the regulator also. And the fourth and the final would be you are, obviously can go to any court of law in India and you file for, this thing for your complaint.
Siddharth, is there a difference in the number of cases that get rejected when it comes to a cashless settlement or a reimbursement? Because those are the two options available. A lot of people now go in for cashless. Is there a better chance of you having a settlement in that case?
So I think, largely, I won't say that, cashless or reimbursement would have much of a role to play in terms of the final claim adjudication, because, claim adjudication or the claim rejection largely would happen because of these 2-3 reasons which we spoke about. Obviously, it is better if you go to a cashless network because obviously you don't have to pay the money upfront from your own pocket. It's easier, and I think there's been a lot of initiative which has happened in the past 1 year about the cashless anywhere facility, wherein you can also request for a cashless hospitalization even if the hospital is not a part of your insurance company network. Obviously, in that scenario, both the hospital, first of all, has to agree and the insurance company has to agree to give that benefit to the customer. But largely, it is advisable and it is better if a person goes for a cashless hospitalization. But nevertheless, reimbursement is also an option that in certain cases where the cashless is not possible, you can always go for a reimbursement option. So I don't think the two are connected, or the claim rejection would be connected to a cashless hospitalization or a reimbursement hospitalization.
I have heard, this is anecdotal evidence, Siddharth, which is why I was asking this, that it's always more cumbersome to have a reimbursement claim because you have third parties that get involved. They tend to ask you questions that are not necessarily relevant to the subject. The line of questioning often becomes a little bit problematic. Actually, I've experienced this myself. So is that something that you need to warn people against?
Yeah, so I think like I mentioned, reimbursement obviously is slightly a lengthier process compared to a cashless, because in cashless you have to basically show up at the hospital, or if it's a planned hospitalization, you have to intimate the your insurance company maybe 24 hours in advance, and the insurance company gives the cashless approval. So in that scenario, you basically don't have to pay anything. You have to just go show up at the hospital, get the treatment done, and then at the time of discharge, you get a cashless approval. Vis-a-vis in the case of reimbursement, obviously, you have to submit the documents, you have to submit the claim form, and there could be multiple documents that are sought after by either the TPA or the insurance company. So I would say that, like I mentioned, it's better, and one thing actually you can do is at the time of buying a policy, look at the hospital which are a part of the cashless network of the insurance company. If I'm, let's say, living in certain part of Delhi, then the most nearby hospital that I'm likely to go should be a part of the network that I'm planning to purchase. I think it's advisable that way. But what I want to come to the point is that reimbursement may be a slightly lengthy process, maybe 6-7 days, 10 days process, but that does not mean that the claim will get rejected, or the amount that will be paid will be any different from that. Only the process is not the the final judgment.
Absolutely. Okay, so point taken. Last point, how much time should somebody be willing to take to get a resolution in a situation where they've had to, for example, go to the ombudsman? Can it take a long time for claims to be settled?
No, so I think that again depends from a case-to-case basis. But I think there are multiple recourses which are available before you have to go to the ombudsman. Like I mentioned, one of the initiatives that we have taken as Policy Bazaar is to help the customers with the claims in a way of claim samadhan divas. Similarly, again, certain cases where we can present the case to the insurance company. So again, from an insurance company to company and from an advisor or the platform that you're purchasing from, that depends. And I think most of those cases get resolved at that point in time. One more thing, which many a times, claims get stuck either at the reimbursement level or any other level, is the need for documents. So sometimes a document is required to process the claim. In many cases, hospital has either not provided it, or maybe it got lost in transit, or something has happened. In those scenarios, those are small reasons because of which the claim gets sometimes stuck.
Yeah.
But largely, once that is done, it doesn't have a reason to get stuck anywhere. So I think from an ombudsman perspective, it does not take a very long time for the claim to get settled, but yes, can vary from a case to case basis.
Okay. Siddharth, thanks so much for joining in, for giving us that perspective. Certainly been an insightful conversation, hopefully a useful one for our viewers. All right, so we've spoken about how you can avoid getting your health insurance claim rejected, but